Hello and welcome to Rise Unwind. My name is Dan. You know, each and every week I try to talk to people from across the country about things you could do in your neighborhood. And on this week's show, we got this.
Of the 50th anniversary of the Habitat mission overall, which has really touched 65 million lives across this world.
And I got to go to cake tastings and dress fittings and go to pick out venues and
all of that plus more right here on that show we like to call Rise and Unwind. Do you ever watch a trailer to instantly wonder what really happened behind the scenes? You know, The Mighty Oaks is one of those films, a survival story with heart, grit, and a little mystery woven in. It lands on VOD and DVD on December 9th, and today we've got two key voices behind it. Filmmaker Brendan Harty and producer Brad Ledwith. Welcome to the show, you two. How are you, my friends?
Thank you so much for having us, Dan. We're having a great time.
All right. I'm glad you're having a great time because I'm off to a terrible start this morning. My brain is frazzled, and I guess for the people that are just hearing about it, what is The Mighty Oaks really about kind of at its core?
I think that the story of the Mighty Oaks is truly an opportunity for people to see lacrosse, tear the covers off of high school sports, and at the same time, accentuate the successes of an underdog team.
We've been talking about lacrosse a lot on the show lately. It's the
fastest growing sport.
Yeah. When you first stepped into the project, what grabbed you about the story, some of the characters, and the setting?
Brendan?
For me, it was, first and foremost, Brad's enthusiasm and the community that surrounded him. Tough to do a project like this if everybody's not, bought in and excited about it. And that's really the energy we had from the very beginning. And then to have the opportunity to, pull the curtain back and show what it's really like to spend a season with these kids who are going through all the issues kids have, as well as trying to win a championship. From my perspective as a creator, it was an awesome opportunity, and we think it comes out in the final product.
And the dynamic between some of the characters or people in it did feel personal. Did you bring anything from your own personal lives or experience to kind of shape how you approach this movie?
Well, that's a great question, Dan. I think that I bring it to the sports. My own experiences of growing up playing baseball, football, basketball. I lost my dad at an early age, and to me, being able to give back to my community, and my dad was a real involved in I remember him being president of the soccer team in the 70s, and honestly, it's one of those things that I remember him doing a lot for the program, and he didn't know anything about soccer. So the story of the Mighty Oaks, which you can find on Amazon Prime, which you can pre-order on Apple TV, December 9th it comes out. I'm telling you right now, if you buy this movie, if you like documentaries, you'll love it. If you like sports documentaries, you're going to think it wins an Oscar.
And the film digs into a little bit of loss, adoption, family grief. How did you approach telling some of these stories without getting too personal or exposing too much?
Well, we covered a lot of different stories. There's a whole women's aspect to this, and their varsity team as well. But some of the more personal stories, I think you just have to handle with sensitivity and a deft touch, but also keep it authentic. And I think if you do that, you have license to tell the stories and get support from the families, and humanizing this movie and making it not just a sports film, but something about the kids and really getting into some of the emotional aspects was important. And that's why we did it.
And telling a documentary, it may be a little difficult because Morgan Hill, they built this lacrosse program pretty much from scratch. What did you learn about the community, or how did you be able to get the community and the parents to support you in making this possible?
Brad's a juggernaut in the community. His enthusiasm is infectious. He's been around from day one. Really, we call him the godfather of lacrosse in the community, but what he really is one of the greatest supporters of it and givers of his time. That's what really got me into it.
All right, you two, I want to thank you two for joining me. You can check out The Mighty Oaks as it comes to streaming. I want to thank you two for joining me today.
Thanks, Dan. And listen, my story is the same all over the country, and Brendan told it very well.
Well, thank you too.
Thanks, Dan.
It's not every day you see daughters planning their mom's wedding, but that is exactly what this new series is all about. Mom the Bride flips the script and follows women helping their moms celebrate love later in life, from dress fittings to the big day itself. Erin Cahill hosts the series on Hallmark Plus, and she's joining us now. Erin, it's great to see you. How are you?
Hi, it's great to see you, Dan. Thanks for having me.
All right, this idea really flips the traditional mother of the bride role, but what stood out to you in this concept?
Oh, well, what you just said, it's really flipping the script on weddings. We're used to seeing, it's right there in the intro. We're used to seeing moms plan their daughters' weddings, but to see the daughters have the opportunity to do this for their mothers is honestly one of the sweetest things I've ever experienced in my life.
And each episode, it follows a different family. What kind of stories or moments can viewers expect to see?
Well, so it's 6 real mothers and daughters, 6 real weddings. And what you can expect to see is everything you would anticipate with a wedding. The excitement, the stress, but also like inspiration and joy. And you can expect surprises in every episode. We really set our mind to surprising the brides and the families. And it is such a joy-filled ride, and it's all the emotions. That's the other thing you can expect. You can expect happiness, tears, laughter, and being really touched.
And you mentioned there's a lot of emotion packed into this. What surprised you the most while working with these moms and daughters?
I was pleasantly surprised at how much it meant to everybody. I knew, in my heart that would be the case, but to see these daughters just want to get it so right for their moms, and then to see the moms letting go of the steering wheel, and saying, okay, yes, take care of me for once, thank you, was just so special. It honestly, it's such an honor and a joy to be part of this with them. Oh, I will never forget it. I'll never stop being grateful. I'm not over it. We were filming for 6 months and I'm not over it.
And you've been part of so many Hallmark projects. How does hosting a series like this compare to acting in one?
Oh, I've never experienced anything like this in my life. I've never done anything, unscripted in this way. And so to get to, to go to work every day, I say work because it was such a joy, but to get to go to work and be part of this. I got to go to cake tastings and dress fittings and go to pick out venues. And it was such a blast. It didn't feel like work. It just truly felt like a gift. And I fell in love with each one of these families so purely. So by the time the weddings came around, I was like,
And the show really celebrates love a little later in life and
Yes.
family connection. What do you hope people take away after watching?
oh, I love that. I hope that people feel inspired by what you just said, that connection, that family bond. I hope people feel, mothers and daughters for sure. Of course, I hope you get related back to your own love and you're like, oh, you want to call your mom and say, I love you. Or, mothers call their daughters and say, I love you. But really it's about the whole family. I hope that people just feel so inspired about love and connection and family and celebrating that.
Erin Cahill, I really want to thank you for joining us today. Mom's the Bride is now streaming on Hallmark Plus, so you can watch the full series pretty much any time you feel. All right, Erin, I want to thank you for joining us today.
Thank you so much for having me, Dan.
Habitat for Humanity is marking its 50th anniversary this week with the annual Jimmy and Rosalind Carter Work Project in Atlanta, bringing together more than 1,000 volunteers to help build affordable housing. It's also the first time the project has returned to Atlanta since the late 1980s, which makes this year especially meaningful. So joining us are Rosalind, Merik with Atlanta Habitat for Humanity and Heather Prill from the Home Depot Foundation, here to talk about the impact of the project and why partnership like this matters so much. Good morning, you two. How are you?
Good morning. We're awesome. How are you?
I'm doing great. Rosalind, for people who may not know much about the Carter Work Project, what makes this build different from other Habitat projects throughout the year?
Wow. Well, we are so honored to host the 40th Jimmy and Rosalind Carter Work Project here in Atlanta, really to bring this project back home in honor of the Carter's legacy, but also in celebration of the 50th anniversary of the Habitat mission overall, which has really touched 65 million lives across this world. It's part of what resonated so much with the Carters and why they chose to get involved was our prioritizing creating more affordable housing options for people everywhere.
And Habitat has always relied heavily on partnerships and volunteers. Why are corporate partnerships like this so important for the work that you guys do?
Well, housing is incredibly complex and expensive, not only for the families who would love to have a home, deserve a home, but also for those of us developers who are building it. So the support that we receive from Home Depot and other partners is essential to cover the cost of everything, to purchase the land, to construct the homes. And thank goodness for our volunteers, because they bring the labor at no cost, which is what helps us make it affordable for the families who purchase these homes.
And Heather, the Home Depot Foundation has been involved with Habitat for a pretty long time now. Why has this mission stayed such a priority for your organization?
The work that Habitat does is so amazing. And as you can imagine, the Home Depot Foundation and Habitat, housing fits in well with what we do, right? The Home Depot was actually founded on 8 core values, and 2 of those values are giving back and doing the right thing. And they intertwine so well with what Habitat does. And then you add to the fact that Atlanta Habitat is in our backyard. So not only were we able to give a financial investment, but we're able to bring more than 150 of our own associates out here to build homes this week. So it's an incredible opportunity for us and for Habitat and for the homeowners as well.
And this year, the project is happening, right behind you in Atlanta. You've got volunteers helping in person. What does that experience mean for your team and for the people taking part in the build?
Me first? Well, let me just say, we are on site at Langston Park in Southwest Atlanta. This is where we have hundreds of volunteers every day joining us on site, literally to raise these homes out of the ground. When we got here on Monday, the homes behind us were just concrete slabs, and now they stand with walls and hallways and rooftops on them. So it feels incredible. The energy is electric. People are high-fiving each other and hugging and celebrating this moment for community to come together. And again, it's our friends from Home Depot and many other companies that have said yes to this opportunity. It's neighbors, it's advocates. And we're showing that when we come together around a housing solution, we can truly make a difference. So we're really excited to lift up this great demonstration here in Atlanta.
All right, so where can people go if they want more information or want to get involved?
Well, they can go to habitat.org, which is the website for Habitat for Humanity International, and they can find their local affiliate in their community where they can get involved to help build just like here in Atlanta, but also to serve as an advocate and certainly to donate also to the cause. That would be great. Habitat.org.
Hey, I really want to thank you two for joining me today.
Thank you for having us.
A lot of people are handling finances on their own now, and according to this new research, many actually feel pretty good about managing the day-to-day stuff. But once the conversation shifts to long-term planning, retirement, or aging alone, that confidence can start to change a little bit. Deana Healy from Merik Financial is joining us with a closer look at research and some ways people could better prepare for what's ahead. Welcome to the show, Deana. How are you?
Thank you so much. I'm great. I appreciate the time today.
No worries. What stood out to you most from this research about people managing money on their own?
So first off, I think it's important to remember that 46% of Americans are single, according to the U.S. Census Bureau. So as we delved into the research across 3,000 Americans who were single, never married, divorced, or widowed, 85% recognized that they felt confident in managing their current day-to-day financial situation. But a similar proportion indicated that they were concerned about aging alone and being prepared for that retirement and making sure they had long-term health care expenses under control and figure out what they needed to do so.
And it seems like a lot of people feel pretty capable day to day, but less certain about the long game. What are you seeing that split?
You know, it equal proportion between the two. I would say they recognized that some of the difficult decisions were around investments, taxes, are they on track for retirement? And again, those healthcare and long-term care expenses. They called out all of those as things that they were concerned about and were decisions that they were found difficult to make on their own.
And for somebody trying to plan ahead without overcomplicating everything, what are a few smart moves they can make right now?
So I think the first thing to recognize is that being financially solo doesn't mean you have to go it alone. I recommend talking to a trusted financial advisor. They can help you understand what's important to you about your money. What do you want to see for your future? What does retirement look like for you? They can then help you put together a plan that will meet those needs, and they will give you some specific action steps to take whether that be addressing how much you're saving, thinking about how you've managed your investments, and then making sure you have appropriate legal protections in place, like having a will, a healthcare proxy, a financial power of attorney, as well as insurance strategies to mitigate against the risk of having long-term care expenses in the future.
Was there anything in the research that caught you off guard a little bit?
You know, I was surprised, the sense of independence. So 3/4 of those who indicated they were financially solo expected to stay financially solo for the long term. 8 in 10 said even if they were in a couple, they'd expect to remain financially solo. So this intentionality around being independent and financially solo was a bit of a surprise. But what that meant, though, was it didn't mean you had to not have support in place. And in fact, over 50% of our respondents said that they were working with an advisor, and 80% of them said it helped them feel more confident about their future and to envision what retirement might look like for themselves.
So where can people go if they want more information?
To learn more, people can go to ameriprise.com/flying solo to read more about the research, as well as some tips and best practices about how to make sure you're prepared for a successful financial future.
Deana, Healy, I really want to thank you for joining me today.
Thank you so much, Dan. I appreciate it.
Most people don't think much about shingles until somebody they know goes through it. It's tied to a virus many of us had since childhood, and when it comes back, it can be pretty disruptive. For adults over 50, the risk climbs quickly, but there are ways to stay ahead of it. Dr. Leonard Friedland and Dr. Samantha Picking are here to break it all down. Welcome to the show, you two. How are you?
Good. How are you?
Very good.
And for people who haven't experienced it, what is shingles actually like, and how does it affect day-to-day life?
Yeah, it's a great question. If you haven't experienced it or you don't know someone that has experienced it, you may not be aware of what it's really like. And this is Samantha Picking, Senior Director of Immunizations at Walgreens. Now, shingles is commonly known as a rash, but it's really more than just a rash. You can get fever, headache, chills, upset stomach even, and the pain during shingles, it actually can last for weeks, and it affects your day-to-day life. So think of time with family and friends, or work, or hobbies, even sleep can be disruptive. So shingles can happen at any time. You may not really know when it's going to hit you, and it doesn't matter what's going on with your life. So it could be interrupting weddings, graduations, major life events, whatever you have on your calendar.
So why does the risk increase once people reach 50?
Yeah, thanks, Dan. I'm Dr. Leonard Friedland, a vaccine research scientist at GSK. You know, no matter how well we feel, our immune systems will naturally weaken as we age. And starting at age 50, the risk of developing shingles then sharply increases. Shingles, also called herpes zoster, it's a painful, blistering rash that's caused by the very same virus that causes chickenpox. And once you've had chickenpox, that virus remains dormant in the body and it can reactivate years later, causing shingles. 99% of adults 50 and older already have the chickenpox virus in their body. And 1 in 3 people will develop shingles over a course of their lifetime. So age is one of the most important risk factors for shingles, and 50 is when that risk begins to increase.
So why is now a good time for adults 50 plus to check in with their local Walgreens pharmacist about shingles?
Yeah, I mean, we all may feel young and healthy well beyond our 50th birthday, but the truth is, as you mentioned, the immune system does start to weaken, and then the risk of developing shingles increases as we age. So people may not believe that shingles will impact them, or it's something that older people experience, but shingles is more common than people may realize. 1 million people develop shingles every year. So this is the reminder to our Gen Xers out there who were born before 1976. You're at increased risk for shingles. Now is the time to be proactive. Talk to your local Walgreens pharmacist. You can walk in anytime and talk about prevention.
And beyond age, what other risk factors should people be aware of?
Well, we talked about age being one of the most important risk factors for shingles, as most cases do occur in people 50 years and older, but stress can also increase your risk. Additionally, Dan, certain health conditions like diabetes, chronic kidney disease, and heart diseases, all of these have been associated with an increased risk of shingles. So if you're 50 and older, especially if you have one of those health conditions, speak to your pharmacist about your risk for shingles and about prevention.
And how can a quick conversation with a Walgreens pharmacist really help someone prevent it?
It's a great question. Now, remember, your Walgreens pharmacist is your local, trusted, accessible healthcare provider who can assess your risk for vaccine-preventable diseases like shingles. They can help guide that conversation, answer any questions or concerns you may have, and then really talk about prevention. So for those 50 years of age and older, I encourage you to ask your Walgreens pharmacist about your specific risk for shingles. It's really easy. You can walk in at any time. Like I said, they're super accessible. But if you want to plan ahead, you can also visit walgreens.com and schedule an appointment ahead of time.
So where can people go if they want to learn more about shingles?
If you're 50 years of age and older, ask your local pharmacist about your risk for certain vaccine-preventable diseases, including shingles. We also have another website. It's easyvax.com, EASYVAX, easyvax.com. And at that website, you can find a pharmacist near where you live and make an appointment to go in, speak with the pharmacist about certain vaccine-preventable diseases, including shingles, and about prevention.
All right, you two. I want to thank you for joining me today.
Thank you.
Thanks for having us.
There's a moment where people start thinking, I should probably do something more with my money. And then it kind of stops right there. Getting into investing can feel overwhelming, but if you don't know the first move, Lisa Hunt with Charles Schwab works with investors at pretty much every stage, and she's here to kind of give us a clearer way to think about it. Welcome to the show, Lisa. How are you?
Hi, Dan. Thanks for having me.
All right, when somebody's sitting there thinking about investing but hasn't acted yet, what's the easiest way to just get started?
Now, one of the most powerful things that you can do for yourself, to invest in yourself, is to get invested and stay invested. So getting started is really the best first step. It can feel a little daunting or complex or confusing, and at Schwab, we really try to make it as easy as possible. We recommend getting educated, get the foundational information that you need to sort of understand what investing is and how to get started. And we have plenty of free content available on our website, on our app, or in one of our local offices. We have a few in Tampa that can help you get started.
And for people who already have something in motion, what should they be doing to keep growing without overcomplicating it?
We just celebrated National Investing Day last week, May 1st, as really a way to highlight and celebrate the importance of investing, but also to remind experienced investors that it's a journey and that you need to check in from time to time where you are in your own personal situation in life. Is your portfolio and your financial plan still accurate and aligned with both where you are today and what your long-term goals are? So even after you get started, investing is really a journey and something that you need to check in with from time to time.
Are you noticing any shifts in who's getting into investing right now?
One of the most exciting trends that we're seeing at Schwab is that the average age of the investor is getting younger, the new investor. And in fact, at Schwab, over 30% of our first-time account holders or new investors are Gen Z, so under the age of 30. That's really exciting because they have decades ahead of them to watch their wealth grow, to let their investments grow, and to ensure that they're going to hit their financial goals and dreams. But with these younger investors, we feel a lot of responsibility to ensure they're educated, that they feel confident and empowered to get invested. And in fact, last month, to help this, we just launched a teen account. So investors as young as 13 can start investing with their own account in the driver's seat. And we provide a lot of educational help and guidance for both the investor, the teen, but also their parents and guardians that are helping them on their investor journey to make sure they're getting started on the right foot.
And there's also a historical piece tied to this. So what happened in 1975 and why does that still connect to what we're doing today?
Yeah, May 1st, 1975 was a real pivotal transformational moment in the history of financial services. It was actually the day that the Securities and Exchange Commission, the regulator for firms like Schwab, chose to remove the fixed fees that we were required to charge to investors. While many companies took that as an opportunity to increase their fees, Charles Schwab, our founder, saw that as an incredible opportunity to create accessibility to investing to everyone. And he actually reduced the cost to get invested. In many ways, he democratized investing for America and really revolutionized our industry. And that was 51 years ago.
And if somebody wants to dig deeper or actually get started, where should they go?
Yeah, the best thing to do is to get started. There's plenty of information out there on the internet. I would recommend going to schwab.com, our website. We have incredible content, incredible resources to help you get started, to help you get educated, to help you feel confident, and to get you invested.
Lisa Hunt, I really want to thank you for joining us today.
Thanks, Dan.
Mother's Day ads always make self-care look relaxing and peaceful, but most moms are lucky if they get 5 uninterrupted minutes to themselves. The good news is small routines and little habits can still make a difference without turning life upside down. Dr. Leah Cardwell is joining us with a few realistic ways moms could feel more refreshed and a little less run down heading into Mother's Day weekend. Welcome to the show, Doctor. How are you?
Thank you so much for having me. I'm well.
Okay, so why does even a small amount of self-care make such a difference for busy moms?
Oh, absolutely. So moms are always taking care of everyone else, and that's often at the expense of themselves. That can lead to fatigue, stress, and burnout. Self-care is so important, and a little goes a long way. I actually find that my patients follow simple routines more consistently, and I see better results with those simple routines over time over those more aggressive, complicated routines done intermittently.
And for moms that are constantly running from one thing to the next, what are some quick ways to feel good and stay refreshed pretty much during the day?
Yeah, so busy moms, they rarely get to slow down even on Mother's Day. And so I recommend Secret's new whole body cooling deodorant mist and relaxing lavender. It's a nice on-the-go pick-me-up product that can just be spritzed on the skin. And it actually has been demonstrated to cool the skin by 10 degrees. So spritz this a little on themselves and it'll keep them cool, calm, and collected.
And a lot of people don't have time for complicated beauty routines. What actually works when you're trying to look put together fast?
Yes. So bring the spa to you. You don't have to go out to the spa. I love Olay's microsculpting cream with triple collagen peptides. It especially activates cells to repair the signs of skin aging. And so it helps with fine lines and wrinkles. You can apply it to your face and neck after cleansing. And it's a really nice one-stop shop that really helps with fine lines and wrinkles and signs of skin aging.
And when it comes to skincare, what are some basics people sometimes just overlook?
Oh, absolutely. So facial skin, body skin, it's all skin, right? So you need to prioritize hydration. You need to prioritize barrier support, as well as just avoidance of irritants. And I really like Native's moisturizing body wash because it does just that. It's very hydrating, very moisturizing. It comes in a variety of different really fun scents. It lathers beautifully, and it turns that daily shower into a 24-hour hydration treatment.
Dr. Cardwell, where can people go for more information?
Yes, absolutely. You can go to bit.ly, that's bit.ly/Mother's Day Beauty Buys.
Hey, I want to thank you for joining me today.
Thank you so much. Happy Mother's Day to all the mothers you know.
And that is it for Rise Unwind. I want to thank you for tuning in and checking out the show. If you actually want to be on the show, email us. Go to our website. That's riseunwindtv.com. We're on Facebook. We're on Instagram. You can say hi there and check out some of the behind the scenes. Plus, follow our YouTube channel. That is at Rise Unwind. And until next week, we are that show we like to call Rise and Unwind.